the fact that it is the second largest search engine in the world, and then it is owned by the first largest search engine in the world. One thing that a lot of business owners don't realize, that their content isn't just appearing on YouTube, but it also has the chance of appearing on Google. And I think also what's making people move to YouTube, even if they've grown an audience on TikTok or they've grown an audience on Instagram, it's the fact that YouTube still pays more than TikTok. The algorithm is basically the audience on YouTube. And YouTube will show people what they want to see. Coaching clients as well as clients that I helped do their channel for. And I always tell them that think about the audience that you're trying to reach on YouTube. Always check your analytics as well. So when you upload a video on YouTube, after 24 hours, look at how that video is performing. So what is the impression like? If the impression is really good, that's usually a sign that the SEO is good. YouTube know who the audience is. But then if the click-through rate is low, then that could mean that you need to work on the thumbnail and the title of the video. A lot of social media experts will tell you this. Social media is always changing, so you're always learning something new. So don't feel like you know it all. Keep learning.
Hi, welcome to the Digital Vigyaan podcast. Vigyaan is a Sanskrit term for science, and that's precisely what this podcast is all about, the science behind digital marketing. I'm your host, Dronacharya Dave, and I'm here to speak with experts from different domains of digital marketing as well as industry segments and learn their opinion on the ever-changing landscape of digital marketing. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another insightful episode of Digital Vigyaan podcast. Businesses have long been leveraging YouTube for branding and customer outreach campaigns. And the simple reason behind this is YouTube being one of the largest go-to platform for people to find information of their interest. If you are watching this podcast on YouTube, it is a testament to this. And while we all consume hours and hours of YouTube content every month, a lot of effort goes in creating the right content for the right audience. So, for this week's episode, I wanted to unearth what goes behind the scenes of creating useful YouTube videos and using the largest video streaming platform in the world for business purposes. And to help me with this, I invited Jennifer Fanning to discuss how to make it big with YouTube. Jennifer is a successful YouTube coach and the founder of Jumbo Content Agency, helping businesses and brands in converting their YouTube channel into a client conversion machine. Here's how the conversation unfolded. Hi, Jennifer. Welcome to the Digital Vigyaan podcast, and thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for having me here.
Jennifer, for this podcast, we'll be talking about YouTube marketing, of course. But before we delve into all the nitty-gritties and the theoretics of YouTube marketing, uh, I would request you if you can give a quick intro about yourself.
Okay, yeah. So my name is Jennifer Fanning, and I started my first YouTube channel in 2017. I think it was summer of 2017. I was an intern at the time. I come from a pharmaceutical background, and I was still in university, and I was doing my internship, and I was so bored. Because where I was in the middle of nowhere, and I decided I wanted to explore like my creativity side. So I started a channel, and it was a complete fail. I didn't know what I was doing. And I basically just taught myself everything that I know. So I spent the last 7 years or so just teaching myself YouTube. And when I started my business, I was only 6 months into business. I was a virtual assistant and administration work for business owners. And I realized, okay, no, I think I need to pivot to YouTube, use all the expertise that I've learned over the years to help business owners with their YouTube channel and their YouTube marketing. So I pivoted my business in May of 2022 to YouTube marketing. And that's why I've been, all this while. So the reason why I chose YouTube was because it's not a platform so many business owners are using compared to Instagram and LinkedIn and TikTok. Not many business owners are on YouTube, and they're missing out on a massive opportunity to reach a wide range of people. And YouTube is a place to build that authority.
Right.
So it's a place for you to build an authority in your niche as the expert, because again, not many people are doing YouTube. So I saw that niche in the market. A lot of YouTube educators were teaching content creators how to grow on YouTube. And I was like, well, why don't I teach business owners how to grow on YouTube, how to market their businesses and make money from YouTube? So that was why I chose YouTube. And I'm so glad that I did. It has opened a lot of opportunities for me because there are not many people in the industry who's doing it for business owners.
Right.
So I've had a lot of podcast interviews like this one. I've had speaking opportunities. So it's just been an amazing journey so far. And I'm just so blessed. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's really great to know. I have some stats for you and for our listeners right here around YouTube, right? So I mean, it's the biggest video sharing platform as of today, right?
Yeah.
It's among the top three social media platforms with roughly 2.5 billion users as of today in 2024. It gets 113 billion visits each month. 52% of internet users access YouTube at least once in a month. And in 2023, YouTube generated $22.31 billion just via ads.
Yeah.
Now, now these are some very staggering numbers, right?
Yeah.
And so I come from a content marketing background, as a professional. And when we talk about content marketing industry per se, then video marketing is a very crucial, and or I would say the leading arm of content marketing today, and when we talk about video marketing, then obviously YouTube is the very first thing that comes into mind. So I want to know, like, to start with, I want to know from you what makes YouTube a very crucial cog in the wheel for any digital marketer for running their campaign. What is it that makes YouTube very, very crucial, and why they should be using it? Because obviously you said that there are still a huge chunk of businesses who are not actually using YouTube to the potential they can, right? But still there are many who are and that's why we have these numbers, the ones which I just mentioned, right? There are still many, or maybe their customers, potential customers, are these, or is what making these numbers, right? The users. So what is it that's making YouTube such a leading element even today? Because see, you highlighted TikTok, you highlighted there are these other channels, like we've had Snapchat, Instagram, Reels have come in, we've had Twitch. Over the years there have been a number of video sharing platforms that have emerged, but somehow the existence of YouTube has never shivered a bit, right? It's kept on going and kept on increasing and kept on establishing an authority in this social video sharing industry. So what makes YouTube so special?
I believe it's two things. The fact that it is the second largest search engine in the world, and then it is owned by the first largest search engine in the world. So Google's the
Right.
number one search engine, then YouTube is the number two search engine, and they're the same company. So that's the very first thing. If I create a video around, let's say, how to get views on YouTube, and then somebody's on Google searching how to get views on YouTube, my video could possibly appear on a Google search page because it's owned by the same company. So I think that is one thing that a lot of business owners don't realize, that their content isn't just appearing on YouTube, but it also has the chance of appearing on Google. So that's the first thing, the searchability power. And then the second thing is the long shelf life on YouTube. So if you post an Instagram post or a LinkedIn post, at most they might show up on people's feed for about a week. But then after that 1 or 2 weeks is over, that's it. Unless people actually visit your profile, they may not see that content again. Whereas with YouTube, videos from 3 years ago are still showing up on my feed, because YouTube is all about relatability. So whatever I'm interested in this moment, YouTube's going to show me that content, even if it's 3 years old. As long as it's relatable to my interest, it will show it to me. If I search that content, it will still show it up to me, again, based on the SEO and the keywords on that video. So those are the two things, searchability and the long shelf life. So that for me is what makes it so impactful in terms of marketing. And the fact as well that not many business owners are using it. So if there's there's an opportunity to grow because not many people are using it. It's not saturated in the sense like if you're a content creator, yes, that is saturated niche, but businesses promoting their own business or their brands on YouTube, it's not as saturated. So like copywriters with successful YouTube channels or even a LinkedIn coach who has a successful YouTube channel, there are not that many on YouTube. So it's not saturated niche. So it's great. It gives you opportunity to build that authority on the platform, but to also have a wide reach because not many people are doing it. So I guess those are the three things. I've mentioned three things. There's the search, the shelf life, and then the fact that there's a chance for reach, especially now there's still a market for it because not many people are using it.
Right. Probably we can merge the third and the first point as one point, search and the reach. We can have it as a single point also. But yeah, I get it. I mean, but it's as I mentioned earlier. It's not that YouTube is the only video sharing platform today, right? Yeah, maybe like the day when it was launched back in 2005, it might have been the only one. But over the period of time, and especially in the last 7 or 8 odd years, we've seen kind of a barrage of several new video sharing tools coming up. uh, like I mentioned, TikTok is there, and Twitch is there, and then you have Snapchat, and in fact, after a point of time, like Facebook, of course, it started as a social networking site, but it has converted itself into more of a social media marketing platform today, right?
Yeah.
It's no more a social, just a mere social networking site, right? So even Facebook allowed video sharing and video posting and everything, but YouTube never went into that danger zone where its existence is fading away. So what made YouTube kept not just keep its place, but also kept on improving? Like we just talked about these numbers, massive numbers, and TikTok and other video sharing platforms are not even near. Like I believe TikTok is somewhere on the um, 1.24 billion mark or something, right? So it's way behind right now. So and yeah, you talked about, like, that it's there for everyone to use. Like, of course, B2B, as well as like businesses doing showcasing their products or services, but as well as individuals have also used it for their own personal branding. But despite being such a is it first mover advantage, you would say, or what is it that's making YouTube not letting away or fading away its existence?
I believe it's down to obviously the things I've mentioned before with the searchability and like, but I also think for a lot of the reason why YouTube is still very much relevant today is a lot of people have understood that you can't just, it's not about just doing TikTok or doing YouTube. And Gary Vaynerchuk says this really well. It says it should be TikTok and YouTube. It shouldn't be one or the other. And I think a lot of content creators especially are doing that. So you see them, they grow an audience on TikTok and then they go onto YouTube and they expand that audience even more. So people are realizing that you don't need to just stay in one platform. But with I think also what's making people move to YouTube, even if they've grown an audience on TikTok or they've grown an audience on Instagram, it's the fact that YouTube still pays more than TikTok to creators when they join the partnership
Right.
program.
Yeah, I think that's a
So
very valid and massive point. Yes.
exactly. So I think that is why a lot of people are still moving, even content creators who've made it big on TikTok, they're realizing, okay, well, I can make more money on YouTube. So I want to also branch into YouTube. And in terms of percentage, I think creators get on YouTube, I think they get about is it 55 or 45% from ads revenue, which is more than TikTok, because even though TikTok actually gives you more percentage, I believe, the amount of money isn't actually there, because TikTok is short, tends to be shorter videos, so advertisers don't pay as much
Yeah.
for their ads because the videos are shorter. So if you have a short video, logic would tell you that it takes less time and effort to create a shorter video than a long form video that's on YouTube. So, and that is why, again, YouTube Shorts, you don't get much money from YouTube Shorts, but you get more money on longer form YouTube videos. So I really do think it's the fact that they do pay so well. And even they've been doing this for years. You know, the plaque when someone gets 100,000 subscribers and all that, they get that little award. Again, not many platforms celebrate their creators like that. Do you know what I mean? Can you imagine the amount of people who've reached 100,000 subscribers on YouTube and every single one of them gets a plaque? I don't
Right.
see TikTok doing things like that. So there's a sense of like community on YouTube. Like it's not just the creators having a community, but the founders, the CEO, the top guys, they are treating the platform like a community. So creators feel like it's a place where they are heard. Updates are shared very openly to people. Whereas like places like LinkedIn, we don't get to know what updates are coming until it just appears on our feed. And we're like, oh, okay, we've got this now. So there's that sense of community on YouTube. And then obviously the fact that they do pay well. So I just feel like it's so accessible to people, and it's simpler in the sense of when you start, it's just a matter of popping up your camera or your phone and filming a video and uploading. You set up your account, you know, and even people who don't have a YouTube account or Google account, they can still watch videos. They don't need to have an account to
Right.
watch videos. So there's just so many factors, I think, that still plays a part when it comes to YouTube. And although TikTok is like leading in the sense of popularity, but when you actually think about it, YouTube is stable. It doesn't quiver, whereas there's like
Right.
always trends going on TikTok. You know, TikTok's the next best thing, but let's face it, once upon a time, Snapchat felt like the one next best thing, but YouTube is still here. So I think it's that sense of the platform, they specialize more on community and making their creators feel safe, seen and heard. So that
I
really,
think when we talk about like if we take just TikTok's example, so in comparison to that, YouTube is way more less controversial also, because TikTok has ever since it has come up, it has always been, covered around controversies. In fact, here in India, it's been more than 2 years now. It's completely banned, right? So we don't have,
really,
yeah, we don't have TikTok over here at all. In the initial stages it was there, but then I think it's been more than a couple of years now. It's been good over nearly 3 years or so that TikTok is completely banned over here, and it's not just here. I think in a lot of other countries, TikTok is not allowed. But
mm,
that's definitely not with the YouTube. It's there
yeah,
everywhere. In fact, people want it, and
yeah,
and one very interesting point you made. About, which I also, when I think about it, I think that, yeah, that's really true, that people start from one of these platforms, but eventually everybody comes on to YouTube. Like
mhm,
this, they may start from Snapchat, or they may start from Facebook, or LinkedIn, or anywhere, but TikTok or anywhere, but eventually they do come to YouTube and make uh, a YouTube account, a YouTube channel,
yeah,
to eventually get more outreach,
yeah,
for their target audience. So yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
I really think it's also a place where people who are serious about their business or their brand, or even content creators who are serious about growing, that's where they want to go, because they know it takes more effort to make it on YouTube than it does on TikTok. So it's like, okay, we know how TikTok works. We've gotten that down. Now we're serious. Let's go onto YouTube and, really like take this thing home. Let's take it serious. So it's it's kind of like, I guess, why people will say things like, well, why are people choosing Apple to Android? Do you know what I mean? It's that whole idea. Like we're gonna go
Okay,
through that
we're gonna
conversation.
have a different discussion on that maybe because hey, Android user over here.
But what I'm saying, like the difference really is it just depends on what the person needs, isn't it?
Right.
And what they value. Android or Apple is all about the experience and exclusivity.
Exactly.
So I feel like in a way YouTube has that. It's like, well, in order to make it big, you have to be serious.
Yeah.
So I guess some people as well, it's like, okay, well, I've made it on TikTok. Now I want to prove to myself or prove to
Right.
people that I
Kind of
am
stepping up,
game,
stepping up your
stepping up.
game
Yeah,
and
exactly.
going to the
That,
next level. Yeah.
exactly. So that's how I see it. That's why I think it's a very long-standing platform.
Right. No, no, absolutely, absolutely, I agree. Uh, so moving on, Jennifer, let's get into the the business side of it more,
Mhm.
especially how you're handling things at your end, because you've been doing this as a consultant for a few years now. Um, so when it comes to YouTube. On YouTube itself, we see a lot of these tutorial videos, right? That which claim that okay, you follow these 7 steps, and you know your channel will it'll boom like anything, right? You follow these 10 steps, or you just do these things, and 5 minutes to become a YouTube sensation. I mean, there are these YouTube
Yeah,
tutorials, every nook and corner. You'll find these YouTube tutorials
yeah,
which claim to like, okay, I'm gonna escalate your business in like 6 months, whatever. uh,
yeah.
so but what I want to know is, what is it that works for you? Like, what is it that you follow, that okay, this is the thing that's my recipe, and that's the thing I follow. Like, I'm sure
Yeah.
you're not one of those who fall for these tutorial videos, but I want to know what's your thing. What is it that works for you basically on YouTube?
Um, for me, I don't think too much about the algorithm because the algorithm will follow where the viewer go. So, and I think someone mentioned this really well. They stated really well, said the algorithm is basically the audience on YouTube. And YouTube will show people what they want to see. So the way I look at that is every time I'm scripting a video, filming it, editing it, I always think of my viewers. Will they find this interesting? What can I say to really help them understand this better? So it's less about me and getting views and getting subscribers and reach, but it's more about the person who's going to be watching me on the other side. And that is something I always tell my clients. So I have coaching clients as well as clients that I help do their channel for. And I always tell them that think about the audience that you're trying to reach on YouTube. So when you think about the audience you're trying to reach on YouTube, then it's a matter of, okay, what are they searching for? What words are they using? And that's going to help you with your SEO. It's like,
Right.
okay, well, what questions do they have right now about this topic? So that would help you to make sure that your videos are well in depth. It's like, okay, how do they want to consume this content? Do they want it to be faster? So my clients tend to be business owners. A lot of business owners don't have time to sit and watch a 14-minute video. So
Right.
then in my head, it's like, okay, this video should be no more than like 15 or 20 minutes long. So when you think about the audience and the viewer that you're trying to reach, it really helps you to keep going when things get hard, but also find the right strategy that works for them to get that views. So for me, that is my approach to YouTube.
Just it's like just keeping it simple,
Mm.
just following the basic of knowing what the audience wants, because but that's what you know that's what actually works every time. I mean, if I talk about myself, whenever I'm creating a content marketing campaign, uh, I just try to understand what the audience is like, what is the demography of the audience, and what
Mm.
is it that they are looking for, right?
Yes.
If my audience is not the ones who would want to read a 1500 word article, right?
Mm.
They just want snippets in, information in snippets. I'll wrap it up in 250, 300 words so that they have everything in a nutshell, or I'll just focus more on short videos or infographics, so that, because
Yes.
I know that they're not going to read an entire 1500 word paragraph or a 1500 word article. So that's not going to work for me. So that's really nice, keeping it simple. That's great.
Yeah.
um, you talked about seeing what kind of audience is reacting to what sort of post, like whether they would be open for a longer video or a shorter video. So um, in a gist, it's like looking out for those specific data points, right? So is there any particular set of data points or analytics that you look for whenever you're working on your campaigns?
For me, I guess because I've done this for a while, I kind of know what my audience wants, and I'm very good at having conversations with people. So I'll be talking to people, and once they see YouTube, like, oh, she does YouTube, they have a lot of questions. So I take note of questions that people have, and I create content videos around that. But tools that I know that can be very helpful to people are things like vidIQ. So vidIQ is a YouTube tool
Yeah.
that you can purchase. There's a free version and then there are paid versions. And what that does, depending on the one that you go for, it can give you like topic ideas based on your channel. So that's a great way to always know what your audience is searching for. Another thing as well, if you're looking for trends or things that are people are searching for, like in this current time, just type onto YouTube. So you could say how to grow on YouTube, and then the suggested searches that always appear.
Yeah.
Yeah, usually, so it might be like how to grow on YouTube, in 30 days, or whatever the suggestion is. That's usually what people are searching for right now. So that's, again, another way to get content ideas that you can then create videos on that. But always check your analytics as well. So when you upload a video on YouTube, after 24 hours, look at how that video is performing. So what is the impression like? If the impression is really good, that's usually a sign that the SEO is good. YouTube know who the audience is. But then if the click-through rate is low, then that could mean that you need to work on the thumbnail and the title of the video. So if you understand what each metrics, or at least the really important metrics, what they mean, and then you can then know, okay, what do I need to fix for the next video, and just improve in that way. But yeah, for me, that's just what I look at. I always have conversations with people. I look at the search, vidIQ, and then also look at my analytics and see what people are interested in. And like if a video does really well, then what I would do is I would double down on that topic. So I could go make another video that goes deeper into that topic again, because it did really well. So which means people want more. So yeah.
Now, of course, when we talk about creating a video, we need tools for that, right? We need applications for that, and there is no dearth of the video making tools today, as of today. But I'm sure you might not be hip hopping around different tools. There might be some selective tools that are your favorite pet ones. So which are the some of the video making tools that you go for and you would vouch for, I would say?
Yeah. And yeah, so vidIQ, I definitely recommend that. What I use vidIQ for is more so a check-in or confirmation of my processes. So after I've put up the video and it's scheduling, so vidIQ will tell me if that is a really good description, if it's good title, things like that. So I like using it for that. And then my editing software that I use. So I don't use Premiere Pro because it's a bit too advanced for me, and yeah, it's just too much. It takes me too long on Premiere Pro. Yeah, so another tool that I use is Filmora, and Filmora is great for, it has AI tools where you can remove long pauses in your videos automatically. So you tell it to detect it and it'll find them and it'll just get rid of them. Or you can edit your videos based on the text. So reading the actual script of your video. So it transcribes your video and it gives you the script, and then you can edit it, removing words that you don't want. Maybe if you repeated something, you can cut those out, and that actually edits your video. So that's how I use AI in my business. To create thumbnails, I use Canva, and I also use Photoshop for my thumbnails as well. But those are like the tools that you would really need. Yeah, so the YouTube tool, which is vidIQ, editing software. Most editing software has AI stuff now. So if you can learn how to use them, it'd be so, so good. It really like shorten the editing process. And then yeah, finding like a thumbnail creation, a thumbnail design tool. So
Right.
that really helpful, yeah.
Now, Jennifer, like you in the beginning, you talked about how your journey started as a YouTube strategist, and interestingly, there are many aspiring YouTube professionals who either have just started in this field or are still in the planning stage, right?
Yeah.
So, as someone who has done these things and have today reached a level, what would you suggest to those who also aspire to get into YouTube as a professional, as a strategist, or as a consultant, as a freelancer, as an individual? What are some tips, I would say, you would provide to such people who also want to get into YouTube as a profession, who want to take up YouTube as a profession?
I depending on who your target audience or your ideal clients are, find a platform that where they are. So for me, because I work with business owners, I'm on LinkedIn and I'm quite active on LinkedIn. I am building connections with people on LinkedIn, and not just by just connecting with them, but also having conversations and getting to know them, not pitching, but just getting to know people and broaden my network. So definitely have conversations with people who are your ideal audience and just grow a working relationship with them, a connection with them. And then when if it feels appropriate to offer them support, maybe if they mentioned, oh, I want to start a YouTube channel, but I don't know what I'm doing, then you can offer that support to them. But those are things that I did. Also, being a person of integrity is really important. So I know that there's some YouTube experts, and I use quotation there because a lot of them are buying views and subscribers for their clients and making it seem like their clients' channel are doing really well. But unfortunately, especially when you're working with business owners, it's not just about the views and the subscribers. They want the clients and the money in the bank.
Right.
So being a person of integrity and making sure that you do know your stuff, being on top of YouTube updates. Now, like YouTube, and I say a lot of social media experts will tell you this, social media is always changing. So you're always learning something new. So don't feel like you know it all. Keep learning, keep doing your research and relate that information.
That's a very important point, I would say.
Yeah.
Whoever is listening to this podcast right now, uh, never say that I know it all, because
Yeah.
nobody knows it all. So that's
No.
a very interesting point. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, just keep learning, doing your research, and then taking what you learn and use that to support your clients. Use what you learn and create content about it to show that you are an expert. That's very, very important. And if you're learning and you're honing in your craft, you're supporting your clients with integrity, it will show, people will value that. And another thing I don't do is I don't make promises that I know that I can't keep. So I'm not going to tell you that, oh, don't worry, in 2 months, I'm going to 10x your subscribers or your views, because I don't know if I can keep that. But what I have known from working with people is clients who tend to work with me, they double and triple their subscribers in 6 months. So I can tell you that, yeah, like about 90% of my clients, I can tell you 90% of my clients have done this by working with me. So that's something that you can expect to happen if you follow my strategies. But the only reason I can say that is because I've seen the results. So yeah, just to recap, be connecting with people who are your ideal audience. Always be learning and making sure that you are top tier, like level, you understand the industry trends that's going on in YouTube, and then educating your audience and your clients on that. becoming a person of integrity as well. So those are the top 3 things that I would recommend.
Jennifer, just picking from one of the points you just mentioned, tracking the trends. What are the trends you are looking at, or you're expecting to take the front seat for 2024 in YouTube?
Oh, I think, well, 2023 saw the rise of video podcasts on YouTube because YouTube brought in the podcast feature in October of 2023. I think what's going to happen in 2024 is more more marketers and creators going to spend more time creating their thumbnails. So there's going to be more emphasis on thumbnail creation on YouTube. And the reason why I say this is because YouTube is releasing a feature, an A/B thumbnail testing feature. So they said early 2024. So I'd say by March, April, everyone should have this on their channel. But what that would allow you to do is when you go to upload a video, you can upload up to 3 thumbnails with that video, and YouTube will test all 3 thumbnails across your viewers. And then the one that does the best will then be the main thumbnail that will be used. So it allows you to know what works for your audience. It's a great feature to improve your thumbnail design. So I really do think that a lot of creators, graphic designers, thumbnail designers on YouTube are going to really level up their thumbnail game in 2024, which would mean that the people who are lazier or not as creative with thumbnails will be left behind. This is what I think is going to happen. Because thumbnails, like, a lot of people don't spend time on their thumbnails. They treat it like, oh, I need a thumbnail, and then they put something together like the last 10 or 30 minutes of uploading a video. And it's a shame because that is the first thing someone will see before they click the video.
Exactly.
So I really think 2024
I
is
mean,
going
it's
to be...
like the subject line of your email. If it's not catchy enough, nobody's going to open
Yeah,
it.
exactly. You're putting all this effort into filming, scripting, editing a video, and then the thing that's going to entice them, you're not putting effort in it. It really doesn't work. So yeah, I definitely think 2024 is going to be the year for it.
Great, great. Great, Jennifer. It was lovely having you on the podcast. I think we discussed a lot of interesting things, and I hope the listeners who are listening to this podcast, or viewers who are watching this podcast, they had their pen and diary handy, because I personally think that all these points were really, really crucial, especially for someone who is looking to amp up their YouTube game, their YouTube marketing strategy. So thanks again, Jennifer, for taking out time for joining me on this podcast, and it was lovely having you here.
Thanks for having me. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jennifer.
Thank you for tuning in. If you like the podcast, please do subscribe to my channel on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcast, and Google Podcast.